Two wildfires have several communities on alert. Sask NDP is accusing Sask Power and the province of hiding information on refurbished coal plants and a letter campaign to keep the snowbirds' Tudor jets in the air.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. There is a large police presence in Pelican Narrows this hour as RCMP are investigating reports of a shooter at the local health clinic. RCMP issued an emergency alert to the public this afternoon of an active shooter. RCMP say he was on foot and dressed in black with a face covering. Now, police are telling people in the community and surrounding area to find a safe place to be and lock the doors. And if they see the suspect, not to approach them. We will update you on this situation as soon as more information is available. Wildfire season is starting to pick up in Saskatchewan. There are currently 11 active wildfires, 4 of them uncontained, including 2 that are threatening communities. Hallie Mandrick has the latest.
One RM is under evacuation orders, while others are on standby waiting for updates as wildfires threaten a number of Saskatchewan communities.
Well, it's everyone south of Shellbrook that's evacuated for now, and the hamlet of Holbein is on alert. SPSA is going to let us know if the fire gets too close, and then we will action that evacuation.
About 130 people have been evacuated from the RM of Shellbrook after a notice was posted on Friday evening. While the town of Shellbrook is not currently under an evacuation notice, the community's Elks Hall is currently serving as a check-in center for those to the south who had to leave their homes. As much of the province was under an extreme heat warning last week, one expert says recent weather conditions have not helped the situation.
The higher the temperature, the lower the humidity, the more fires tend to start acting more, aggressive. You throw in some wind there, and you've got yourself a very bad combination.
The blaze impacting the Shellbrook area is called the Lobstick Fire, and it's one of 2 significant uncontained fires currently threatening Saskatchewan communities. The second being the Cayford Fire, which has resulted in evacuations in the eastern part of the province and into Manitoba.
We're not predicting the fire to impact any other communities other than perhaps smoke. So depending on the wind conditions, the smoke might affect surrounding communities. But we established a line on the north side, so we'll continue to bolster that and make sure that our line holds.
Lang says, while some of southern Saskatchewan is seeing precipitation, much of the next month is not expected to offer reprieve as wildfire season settles into the province.
The forecast for the month of June has a better probability across the entire province that it's going to be warmer than average. So I think people should buckle up for that and just know what to expect, that it is coming.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
With the 1-year anniversary of the Denair Beach wildfire tomorrow and another active wildfire season underway, the NDP is calling on the provincial government to release an independent review of the 2025 wildfire response. Consulting firm MNP was selected last October to conduct the review, which was originally expected to be completed before the 2026 wildfire season. But during the spring legislative session, the community safety minister said the review had been granted an extension until the end of spring. The NDP says many questions remain unanswered, while Premier Scott Moe says the report will be released as soon as the government is able to do so.
We have serious questions about the fire response. We have serious questions about the communications coming from SPSA, from Red Cross, the financial supports, insurance issues. The list just goes on and on.
We'll release the report as soon as we're able, if there's recommendations that are in that report, we're going to try to address them as quickly as possible.
Moe says the review could help inform a broader conversation about improving wildfire response and support for evacuees. Well, Saskatchewan NDP also accusing the provincial government of going to new lengths to hide details of a plan to refurbish coal plants. Last month, the opposition released leaked documents that suggest the cost of the plan could be more than Sask Power initially projected, something Sask Power CEO says is misleading. Now the NDP says the Crown Corporation is taking steps to block the release of further information. Wayne Mantika breaks it down for us.
NDP MLA Elena Young has a blank page of redacted information that she has received from Sask Power. She says it was Sask Power's response to her latest Freedom of Information request regarding coal-fired power plant refurbishment.
We have another tranche of blacked out documents from Sask Power.
Initially, Sask Power estimated the capital cost of refurbishing aging coal-fired power plants in Estevan and Coronach at just under $1 billion. That number was later revised to $2.6 billion until a Sask Power employee leaked information to the NDP suggesting the cost could run much higher.
Closer to the $11.4 billion capital cost contained in the leaked Sask Power board documents.
The NDP say Sask Power is now taking steps to block the leak of further information.
I've heard there's a bit of a witch hunt taking place at the moment. I've heard there are efforts being made to stymie further leaks, document tracing, watermarking all sorts of documents and files within Sask Power. I think this speaks to an organization that's under siege.
Sask Power had no response to the NDP's latest allegations, but earlier had voiced disapproval over internal documents being leaked. It said various scenarios are considered from time to time, but should not be confused with government direction or policy. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Yorkton RCMP are asking for the public's help in locating a missing woman. 26-year-old Heaven Starr from Regina, last seen on 3rd Avenue North up in Yorkton around 5 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. She is 5'9" with brown eyes, brown hair. She was last seen wearing black shorts and a white top. She might be wearing a bandage on her right knee due to an injury she occurred. If you know where she is, call Yorkton RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Regina Police Service is reminding residents not to fall for grandparent scams. So far this year, they have received 13 reports with scammers stealing about $75,000. Scammers rely on your emotions and urgency to trick you. That's why police recommend that you take your time and not react quickly if you receive one of these calls.
Your grandson's here, call your family members, whatever. The police will never put a gag order on you, nor will we ever call to ask for money, neither will the courts. If you ever have any questions, hang up the phone, call the police, and we'll be happy to tell you if it's a scam or not. And if it's not a scam, how you go about doing that. But like I said, we'll never ask for money, neither will the courts, so any of these calls are going to be scams.
Sergeant Krieger also says there's a slim chance the money could be recovered, but only $16,000 has been recovered this year from the $75,000 that has been stolen. Well, from coast to coast, rising costs are hitting Canadians hard. A poverty report card created by Food Banks Canada gave the country a D+ grade. Saskatchewan received the same grade. New Brunswick got an F. Mick Favel has more.
Peter Gilmer is an advocate at the Regina Anti-Poverty Ministry and says the poverty report card confirms what the ministry is seeing with the population they work with, including a high child poverty rate.
We also know that Saskatchewan has the greatest depth of poverty, meaning that it's not just that people are living in poverty, it's how far below the poverty line that they're living.
Food Banks Canada have been releasing the reports since 2023, giving provinces, territories, and the country as a whole a grade on where they stand in terms of poverty reduction efforts. This year, Saskatchewan was given a D+, a slight improvement from D- in 2024.
There are certain groups of people who are more susceptible and vulnerable to facing poverty and food insecurity. However, we are seeing many people with full-time work as well who are contending with the rising costs of living because their wages aren't rising fast enough.
According to their data, 42% of Saskatchewan people feel worse off compared to last year. 36% spend more than a third of their income on housing. 59% of government support recipients say rates are insufficient to keep up with the cost of living. And 26.7% live in households experiencing food insecurity. Gilmer says some sort of rent control could assist people from having to choose between food or a roof over their head.
People shouldn't be spending more than 30% of their income on rent, which is a far cry from what we see the majority of people that we're working with who are, as I said, spending 80% of their or more.
In addition to introducing basic rent increase guidelines, Food Banks Canada is recommending Saskatchewan introduce a refundable child benefit and index income support to inflation in order to improve its grade. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
All right, Sabine joins us for our first look at weather, and different from what we saw last week with that extreme heat. Things are a little more seasonal out there right now.
Yeah, well, for southern Saskatchewan at least, we still actually have some heat warnings issued, but they're in northern Saskatchewan. I want to say actually parts around Hudson Bay still in the heat warning zone, yellow level, so not the orange level that we saw for most of the province. But yeah, for most of Saskatchewan, we are back into seasonal temperatures. We're looking at the high teens to 20s, and we do have some precipitation. And I mean, you either love it or hate it. Less sunshine, a little bit more cloud cover that's helping cool down these temperatures that we were dealing with over the last week or so. So again, yeah, Prince Albert still seeing those heat warnings. And in fact, now those heat warnings look like they will start to lift heading into tomorrow, when we're expecting to see those temperatures come back down into the 20s and closer to seasonal. And we do have more rain expected in parts of Saskatchewan, but not as much as it first looked like we were going to be seeing, especially in southern Saskatchewan. Current temperatures back into that seasonal range, a little cool as we're heading into the evening. Rockland at 9 degrees. But like I said, we will continue to see seasonal temperatures, and I'll have details in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, thanks, Sabine. After last month's news that the snowbirds will be grounded at the end of the season, advocates have launched a campaign in an attempt to keep the Tudor jets in the air until the new planes arrive. Donovan Mace has the details.
Brian Swidrovich organized Saskatoon's Canada Remembers Air Show for more than 20 years. Often flying at the event, the snowbirds.
It's not just at air shows, it's all the other stuff that people, I guess after a while you take it for granted. It's like anything else. Maybe there might not be a next year.
His support for the Air Squadron earned him the title Honorary Snowbird. And now he's hoping to give back that support after news the team will be grounded.
I'm as concerned about their future as anybody.
On May 19th, the federal government announced plans to replace the Snowbirds' current Tudor jets with new aircraft, grounding them at the end of this airshow season until at least the early 2030s.
I saw the Snowbirds when I was 10 years old at an air show, and then later on it became my career.
Snowbirds alum Maurice Carmichael believes by not flying, the team is at risk of losing its experience and wants to find an alternative solution to fill the gap.
Perhaps reducing to 7 airplane, reducing the length of the show, the complexity of the show, and using some of our partners, making it a true Canadian team approach.
The Alumni Association launching a letter writing campaign to keep the team in the air. The city of Moose Jaw, home of the Snowbirds, has already pledged its support.
We just need to, firm that message up that the Snowbirds are ours, they belong to everyone, and we need them to keep going.
Swidrovich says every letter counts.
Everybody has a story and a memory and about what the team means to them. And I've got lots of them, obviously. So take the time, write a letter to your MP.
The Snowbirds' final show is scheduled for this October in California, with many hopeful it won't be the last. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
Workers at a Saskatoon restaurant are among those displaced after a large fire destroyed several homes in Hampton Village on Friday. The fire destroyed 4 homes with 4 employees of the Indian Curry House living in one of them. The restaurant's owner says 2 of the workers escaped with only the clothes on their backs, running from the fire without shoes on their feet. He says they lost everything, including passports, clothing, and other personal belongings.
They gave me a video call, but they were all crying. Everybody was crying because they lost their passports and everything. And not just that, documents and jewelry and valuables are apart from the memories, right, which they accumulated in that house for the last 2 years.
The restaurant has launched a GoFundMe campaign to help the workers replace essential belongings and try to find them some long-term housing. Well, for people who are looking for a new career, workers are wanted in Saskatchewan's mining industry. Members of the mining industry gathered at the U of S this morning to mark the start of Mining Week. The Saskatchewan mining industry says it will need about 15,000 new employees to work in the trades and engineering in the next 10 years. It says it's working with its partners to try and fill those positions.
To increase the mining labor pool, we're working closely with the government and industry to promote career opportunities in mining and collaborating with post-secondary institutions for training that will attract a new generation of talented employees that will underpin the success of Saskatchewan's mining sector.
According to data collected by the province, the average salary for an employee in the mine industry is a little more than $155,000 a year. In support of June being Pride Month, people in Regina are embracing the LGBTQ2S+ community through a crosswalk display. Volunteers of Queen City Pride outside painting the Pride flag on a crosswalk between 12th Avenue and Hamilton Street downtown. This year, the group says they were thankful to have local businesses reach out to them to sponsor the supplies they needed.
By doing stuff like this, it seems like it's a small thing, but it can make a huge difference just in someone's day. You know, somebody passing by on the street is going to see that. That's a huge deal for them, especially kids that are growing up, you know, in a conservative province like this.
Now, next Sunday, the group will be painting a Pride flag at the Cathedral crosswalk as well. The Pride Parade is scheduled in Regina for June the 13th. Still ahead, the Conservatives focus on the economy as Canada enters a slight recession. And South Korea sweetens their submarine contract offer, promising to use Canadian steel.
Tomorrow, a daughter's death and a family's grief.
It's so hard to believe still that she's not going to walk through that door.
How her mother looked for answers.
My daughter's life was worth $123 Canadian to you.
And the surprising result. W5 investigates tomorrow on CTV National News at ctvnews.ca.
The health of Canada's economy was a subject of debate at the House of Commons today, with the Conservatives saying Mark Carney has plunged Canada into a, quote, liberal recession. New data Friday confirmed we are in what's called a technical recession, but some economists are downplaying the significance of 2 consecutive quarters of falling GDP. Abigail Beeman explains.
My work is done. Mark Carney tries his hand at a home building site, but wasn't taking questions about a recession. After Statistics Canada reported Friday, Canada's economy contracted slightly for 2 straight quarters. Not from journalists nor opposition in the House of Commons.
While Canadians are starving, losing their jobs and missing mortgage payments, and Mark Carney has created the only G7 economy in a recession, he is hiding from accountability.
Leaving other ministers to answer.
Canada is the most integrated country in the world with the United States. They have declared a trade war on us. This side of the House understands that. We will control what we can control.
The Leader of the Opposition should stop running down Canada and join us.
It's the Liberal Prime Minister that's running down our economy and then running away from accountability for it. Where is he anyway?
Conservatives are calling for an emergency debate on the recession, as Liberals don't seem to all be on the same page in terms of messaging.
I do know that people in my riding are hurting. So I listen to people talk about housing prices. I listen to people talking about food prices and about incomes that are too low. And so that's what we're working on here.
I'm not. That all indications are that it's shallow and that we're coming out of it. I believe them.
Late this afternoon in the House, the Speaker decided against an emergency debate, saying he doesn't believe it meets the requirements. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Postal workers have approved a new contract, voting overwhelmingly in favor of a new tentative agreement with Canada Post after more than 2 years of labor disputes. The union, representing about 55,000 workers, says it voted more than 85% in favor of the 5-year deal, which includes wage increases in the first 2 years. Federal government is expected to make its decision on a multi-billion-dollar submarine bid between South Korea and Germany by the end of this month. The competition is heating up. South Korea's Hanwha is now promising to use Canadian steel if selected. Judy Trin has more.
A united front to announce a new partner in a plan to strengthen the auto sector.
How Canada's auto sector can pivot.
The diversification plan now includes using Ontario steel to manufacture Hanwha's Howitzer K9 and other vehicles in Canada. The South Korean defense company has thousands of orders from 6 NATO countries for these armored vehicles. Making them in Canada could be an important lifeline for the hard-hit industry.
The economic activity that comes from that deal for automotive is the equivalent of 1 new car plant here. And so what that means is probably 15,000 direct jobs.
The steel in the vehicles will come from Sault Ste. Marie's Algoma Steel, where about 1,000 people have been laid off.
We are The only steel producer in Canada that can make ballistic-grade steel for defense applications. It's a great opportunity to be part of a consortium.
But it's all contingent on Hanwha winning the massive bid to build Canada's fleet of 12 new diesel-electric submarines. Last month, the South Koreans sailed the KSS-3 to Victoria to show it off. The submarine, built by German competitor TKMS, is still under construction. But Germany is trying to make waves in other ways.
The program creates and sustains more than 650,000 jobs over the next years. The impact on the GDP will amount to 86 billion Canadian dollars.
As the economic promises increase, the government is hesitating but not ruling out splitting the procurement.
I don't know if you can categorize, Judy, the safe decision being splitting this down the middle. I think what we're looking at here is making sure that we have a fleet that is interoperable.
Both the South Koreans and the Germans are offering significant industrial benefits. The Prime Minister says he'll make his decision before the end of June, just before the July 1st deadline for reviewing the Canada-US-Mexico Free Trade Agreement. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Lebanon has announced a partial ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. It would amount to a limited de-escalation of the conflict that has killed thousands of people. U.S. President first announced the agreement saying, "I had a very productive call with Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu of Israel, and there will be no troops going to Beirut, and any troops that are on their way have already been turned back." Likewise, through highly placed representatives, had a very good call with Hezbollah, and they agreed that all shooting will stop, that Israel will not attack them, and they will not attack Israel. But after that announcement, Israel said it would continue military operations in southern Lebanon, where ground forces are making their deepest incursion in 25 years. Hezbollah says it would support a full ceasefire across all Lebanon as a precursor to the withdrawal of Israeli troops. Hostilities in southern Lebanon continue this evening, though. Lebanon says it will seek to expand the ceasefire in talks with Israel in Washington on Wednesday. Coming up, why a Saskatchewan family might have the secret on how to live a long life.
Wildfire readiness, the economy, and a busy summer. We've heard from the Premier Tuesday on your mornings. Time to hear from the leader of the official opposition. We'll see you then.
Welcome back. It looks like it could storm, but it's not going to. The clouds are clearing up far in the distance, more cloud cover rolling in. We dealt with not a whole lot of sunshine today in Regina, currently sitting at 13 degrees. Didn't really see a big warm up either for the most part throughout the day. The temperature fluctuated anywhere between about 15, 16 degrees for most of the day. The warmest was at about 1 a.m. when we were at 18 degrees, and it's just kind of gone downhill from there for most of the day. However, we are getting back into that seasonal range heading into the rest of this week. In terms of our radar satellite, we have seen more precipitation coming through the Saskatoon area. We still have those heat warnings issued for parts of northern Saskatchewan. Now, it does also come down into the Hudson Bay area, Melfort, Larange, Pelican Narrows, Prince Albert, dealing with those heat warnings. But again, we should start to see those lift as we head into tomorrow. In terms of southern Saskatchewan, the only real rain we did see was further down along the southern border, where the temperature we last checked was about 9 degrees around Assiniboia. We're seeing a little precipitation there, and most of that rain in the Saskatoon area. Now, this system that we're seeing mostly coming into Calgary, where we're seeing more rainfall warnings in Alberta, that system was supposed to be a little closer to Saskatchewan, both east and west sides. But as we take a look at what's going on with this system, we're not actually going to see a lot of the rain as it originally looked like we were going to be seeing, because this system looks like it's widening out, and we'll see more of that rain getting into Alberta and into Manitoba. So Tuesday morning, this system it looks like there's a possibility some storm cells coming into this system as well. Originally, it was further into Saskatchewan. The Parkland was expecting to get quite a bit of rain and even Estevan, over 20 millimeters of rain. But now it looks like that system is going to be more so moving into Manitoba. So while we are expecting to see rain throughout parts of southern Saskatchewan over the next couple of days, it's not as much as what originally looked like it would be showing on the forecast on the radars there. So in terms of what's to come, we will see anywhere between about 3 to 5 millimeters of rain for most of southern Saskatchewan, but we will see a little bit more in the Maple Creek area, and I'll actually show you that coming up. But by the time we head into Thursday morning, the rain, any possibility of rain starts to clear out. We'll be seeing a little bit more of that cloud cover and the temperatures staying within the seasonal range. So by tomorrow morning, it looks like Maple Creek will get up to about 10 millimeters of rain, trace amounts in Weyburn and Assiniboia, and then more rain is expected further north. You can see Prince Albert up to 20 millimeters of rain by Wednesday morning, and we're still looking at about 1 to 2 millimeters in the Weyburn Assiniboia area. Swift Current up to 7. Yorkton could see up to 3 millimeters of rain, and then Moose Jaw eventually by the time we get into Thursday afternoon seeing about 1 millimeter of rain. Regina could also see about 1 millimeter or so, and Estevan could just be on the cusp of about 1 millimeter or 2, but a little further deep into that southeast corner could see some heavier rainfall, possibly just with the way that system's clipping through into Manitoba. Temperatures tomorrow for most of Saskatchewan, we're getting back into the 20s, but a little cooler for areas like La Loche. 10 and rain tomorrow, cloudy and 15 for Lloydminster, 22 for Prince Albert with a risk of thunderstorm, 24 and a mix of sun and cloud for La Ronge, 20 degrees with a risk of thunderstorm for Saskatoon and Yorkton tomorrow, 18 and cloudy for North Battleford. The southwest, much cooler, 12 and rain for Maple Creek, 14 for Swift Current, 19 for Moose Jaw, and 23 for Estevan and 22 for Weyburn. For Regina tonight, 11, winds picking up to 70 kilometers an hour, and 19 tomorrow is the expected high. And as we take a look at what's coming up, we're back into seasonal range for the most part. Saturday, though, looking nice and warm at 28 degrees. 19 cloudy tomorrow. Wednesday, a chance we could see some showers in the afternoon. 19 is the expected high, warming to 21 Thursday. Friday, a mix of sun and cloud, getting back up into those warmer temperatures. 25 Friday, 28 on Saturday. By Sunday, a risk of thunderstorm, 25. And then by Monday, 23 degrees. So for the most part, Lee, we are staying into that seasonal range. It's Friday, Saturday, where we may bump up a couple degrees, but nothing to the extreme that we were dealing with before.
And that rain, actually, that's going to be near Hudson Bay, might help one of those uncontained fires right now, which is good too. So
absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much, Samin.
You bet.
Well, from the fountain of youth to magical herbs, humanity has always had a fascination with longevity. Well, maybe we just need to look to a family from southeastern Saskatchewan. Sierra Souza Butch introduces us to 4 sisters, all past 90 years old, who continue to enjoy life to the fullest.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Polly.
Polly Everly says she feels far from 100 years old.
I'll dance yet. Only I can't see very good, eh? Otherwise, I'm 100 perfectly.
Born in Momart, Saskatchewan in 1926, Polly grew up in a family of 7 with 4 sisters and 2 brothers. Now, she's marking a milestone next to 3 of her sisters who are all over the age of 90.
We feel old because my sister is the oldest. Sometimes we had pretty good fights, but not so bad.
By her side are Babe, Evelyn, and Betty, who are 93, 94, and 96 years old. When branching off to build families of their own, the siblings stayed close to one another, farming in the Kendall and Fillmore areas.
They're all there except for my mother. And I happen to be the oldest nephew of the whole bunch.
Noel credits his relatives' good health to their love of dancing.
They wouldn't miss a dance, and they play instruments and everything else. I think they could still dance if you'd hold them a little bit.
Polly told me that it was a shot of whiskey in the evening.
The Keller family has now extended to 5 generations. Polly's great niece saying it's unbelievable to see all 4 sisters together in their 90s.
It's sad that, their 2 brothers are gone and their older sister, which was my grandmother, is gone. But I look at my dad now and I keep thinking, geez, does he have those genes in him? Because I'd like him to live to be 100 or older too.
Adding, any opportunity to get together, she will cherish.
There we go.
Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, the Riders head out on their rare Week 1 bye with some championship bling.
Here's what's happening in our community. Assiniboia garage and yard sales happening on June 6th throughout Assiniboia. For more information, you can call 306-640-8800. And the Pony Express on the Prairies is happening June 6th at 10 a.m., starting in the town of Francis and ending in Fillmore. For more details, call 306-861-7136. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
Well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have unveiled their Grey Cup championship rings. This is the ring presented to players, coaches, and staff during a special private ceremony last night. Crafted by Barron Championship Rings, designed with the help of quarterback Trevor Harris, linebacker Jameer Thurman, long snapper Jurgen Hughes, head coach Corey Mason, GM Jeremy O'Day. Now, it features 5 stones symbolizing the team's 5 championships, along with a compartment that shows the stadium right here with the scoreboard saying 1-0, which is how they kind of took every week. We're 1-0. We want to be 1-0. We want to be 1-0. Also on the inside, you saw it a little earlier, the motto, "It's our time." Now, with the Riders on a bye week to start the season, they won't hit the field to prepare for the home opener versus BC until next week. But when they return, a few familiar faces will not be there. The team making their final cuts on Saturday. And running back Mario Anderson, he is out as AJ's backup, replaced by Quali Conley, who was on the practice roster. Receivers, Siosi Mariner, who was on a practice roster last year, he was cut. I know somebody that thought he would be a 1,000-yard receiver. And Abdul Jenna Jr., who had 9 catches for 151 yards in the preseason. Defensive back Benny Sapp III, who played 6 games last season. Punter Jesse Mirko, replaced by first-year Australian Oscar Chapman. And American kicker Jonathan Kim lost out to global kicker Alex Hale. Western Canadian Baseball League, the Regina Red Sox beginning their 2025 league title defense on the right foot, opening the season with 3 wins in 4 games.
That one is gone. See you later. Brady Bye, 3rd home run of this homestand. Makes no mistake.
Voice sounds familiar. Last year's postseason MVP, Brady Bye, hitting his 3rd home run already this season as the Sox sweep a weekend set with the Medicine Hat Mavericks, locking down a 7-5 win yesterday. Regina next in action Tuesday night at Curry Field when they will host their rivals from Saskatoon. An early season matchup between the top 2 teams right now in the East Division. Saskatoon also has a 3-1 record. Now, we are just 10 days away from the start of the World Cup. Canada will play their first of 2 warm-up games tonight as they take on Uzbekistan in Edmonton. As Kathy Lee tells us, despite the area seeing plenty of rain recently, it's not dampening the spirits of Canadian soccer fans.
I spoke to a super fan earlier today who says despite the rain, tens of thousands of soccer fans in their ponchos will pack Commonwealth Stadium tonight. Larry Zima will be among the more than 46,000 ticket holders cheering for Canada. He says this isn't the first time fans have had to deal with poor weather at a World Cup related game here. The last time the stadium hosted a national men's team game was the November 2021 World Cup qualifier when Canada defeated Mexico 2-1 in very snowy conditions, earning Commonwealth Stadium the nickname Azteca. The capacity for the stadium is 54,000, and Zima says the rain may deter a sold-out crowd, but believes the energy will be there. As for the World Cup being hosted for the very first time in Canada, here's what he said.
It's pride. You know, it's nice. It's knowing that the largest sport in the world is being held in the country we love, and it's important for Canadians to understand that.
Explore Edmonton says tonight's game is a huge deal for the city, saying more than $20 million is expected to be injected into the local economy just from one match. Fans are not just from within the province, but across Canada and North America. The match kicks off at 7 p.m. local. Canada will play one more friendly game on June 5th in Montreal against Ireland before opening its World Cup campaign on home soil just a few days later. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Edmonton.
Still ahead, the Yorkton Brick Mill receives funding for better accessibility.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at your rural forecast for tomorrow. Some areas expecting to see the rain, and many areas we're back into seasonal temperatures. High teens, low 20s, 20 degrees for Watrous and a risk of thunderstorm, 21 for Melfort with the risk of thunderstorm, 24 for Hudson Bay and rain. Wynyard, 19 and a risk of thunderstorm, and also for Spiritwood. Not really a risk of thunderstorm, but expecting some rain in the Spiritwood area. Cloudy and 19 for Meadow Lake. A little cooler in the west. Lloydminster, 16 and cloudy, 15 and cloudy for Kindersley. And Outlook, 18 and cloudy there. Closer to the southern border. Again, the southwest, because of that system that's coming into Alberta, feeling the effects of it, certainly seeing the rain in Maple Creek, 12 degrees there. East End, Cypress, 11 in rain, 13 and cloudy for Leader. Over in the southeast, different story. Temperatures in seasonal range, low 20s, but a risk of thunderstorm due to that system that's going to clip through into Manitoba. 17 and cloudy for Coronach, 14 and cloudy for Rockland, Lumsden, Pilot Butte, 19 and mostly cloudy. And if we take a closer look at Govan, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel, located about 110 kilometers north of Regina. 19 is the expected high tomorrow for Govan, but rain is also expected in the forecast tomorrow. Could see anywhere between 5 to 10 millimeters of rain.
The incident happened on April the 14th, 2026 at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Victoria Park near the Cenotaph. A man was seated on a bench when two males on bikes approached. The shorter of the two males pulled a knife out of the front pocket of his hoodie and stabbed the victim. The suspects then immediately fled on their bikes and were last seen going northwest towards 12th Avenue. The victim had never seen the males before the attack. There were several people in the park at the time of the incident, and police would like to speak with you to see what you know about the incident.
I'm Belton Johnson, board member with Regina Crime Stoppers. Did you know Crime Stoppers will pay up to $2,000 cash rewards for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina? Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan, in Canada, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crime Stoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
In the fight towards addiction, recovery, and mental health struggles, the Empower to Recover Foundation visited Regina on Saturday. Traveling from Ottawa, Glenn Kulka was the key speaker. Now, he's a former Saskatchewan Rough Rider defensive lineman, but he also played in the Western Hockey League and competed in the World Wrestling Federation, now known as WWE.
It's going to be tough. I was doing in Ottawa was the street mission and going around helping feed and clothe the homeless in Ottawa. We'd go out every Saturday down Rideau Street, and we do that regular. And then we do Tuesdays, Thursdays, we rotate and go to a different area. So that type of need and seeing people in the drug situation of today, my biggest thought was you're going to have to get them before they get there. It's a hole that's very difficult to get out of.
Kulka was invited by Executive Director Jay Barnard, who's been in recovery for 18 years. The foundation has traveled to 5 different provinces, including Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC. The foundation celebrated its 3rd anniversary on May 27th. Saturday was their 30th event. The Yorkton Brick Mill will soon be accessible by wheelchair thanks to a special grant. On Monday, the Rick Hansen Foundation announced the recipients of the 2026 RBC Barrier Buster Grants program. The goal of the program is to fund physical accessibility improvements across Canada. 40 communities are awarded up to $40,000, and the funding will be used to build an elevator, which will provide wheelchair access to the historic building's first floor.
We want to be accessible to everybody, and a lot of our seniors come in mobility issues and parking and so on, so that way they can be in a wheelchair and get to the first floor of the mill and look around and see what's here.
4 other communities in Saskatchewan receive funding as well. That includes Wadena and Moose Jaw. All right, farm markets, canola street price up 30 cents to $734, 65 cents per ton. The futures price up $15.70, good jump to $776.60 per ton. Amber durum wheat, $285, 20 cents per ton, while red spring wheat's down $4.06 to $284.19 per ton. Feed barley was up $10.33 yesterday, or at the close on Friday. Stayed the same, $261.21 per ton. And flax is $630.54 per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge and Ice Futures Canada. Markets, the TSX went down 34 points. The Dow Jones up by 46 points. The Canadian dollar, it went up almost to 0.3% to 72.26 cents U.S. On the commodity front, gold went down 15 cents. West Texas Intermediate crude went up $4.80, while Western Canadian Select crude went down $1.31. So gas in Regina went down again. It's now sitting in most places for $1.69.9 cents per liter.
That catch is the company would have to win the bid to build Canada's next generation submarine fleet. Hanwha says the military vehicles would be made in Canada by Canadian workers. Our military needs 250 armored vehicles used in the Arctic. The winner of the contract will be announced by the end of June. There will be an initial public offering for Apotex. The company makes generic drugs. It was founded by Canadian Barry Sherman in 1974, but sold to an investment firm in 2023. That was several years after Sherman and his wife were found murdered in their Toronto home. The Sherman family still has a stake in the company. Anthropic has filed paperwork for its IPO. The number and price of the shares haven't been released. The company is a leader in AI tools like Claude, which is a rival to OpenAI's ChatGPT. Both companies are planning to go public in the fall. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, The Big Bang Theory, brought to you by Hockey Fanatics. Everyone's favorite quiz, then the rookie, The Big Bang Theory, E-Talk, and then we've got national and local news.
It's only Monday, Lee.
2 Big Bangs.
You didn't let me guess.
It's not the quiz show. Remember that baby giraffe at the Toronto Zoo we showed you weeks ago? Well, it's growing up pretty fast.
Is that it? Guess my mic is on. All right.
Yep,
Those
that's
unsteady, wobbly steps are long gone. The zoo says Imara stepped outside into her outdoor habitat for the very first time last week, and she could be seen exploring new sights, sounds, and spaces alongside her mom. Staff say moments like this are based on trust, patience, and cooperative care. They do grow up fast.
Yeah,
I was
quick.
still not. Thought it was going to be just a little guy, little gaffer.
Little-ish.
Just yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Canadian music superstar Celine Dion is adding 10 additional dates to her comeback run in Paris.
So the new date scheduled for May 20th to 27th that's obviously next year, bring her Paris residency up to 26 performances. They're having these shows because of the overwhelming demand. On her website, it says the added concerts will be for previously registered fans who are unable to secure tickets. So if you're thinking you get another chance, you haven't done it, no. Dion announced her return to the stage in April following a prolonged break after being diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, an incurable autoimmune disorder. And there are some scenes in that documentary that are tough to watch from that disorder.
Producer Brenna and I would like to petition for her to at least come to maybe Montreal, and we can go.
Mosaic Stadium?
Montreal.